Hello everyone, this video goes through the story of Trilogy of Ninja Gaiden. Liu infiltrates the Shadow Clan fortress. He is there to visit his uncle, the clan leader Mirai. During the chat, Ayane delivers the news of a raid on Hayabusa village. Fighting his way back to his village, Liu encounters Doku, who has killed Hayabusa shrine maiden Kureha and has taken a dark dragon blade. Liu is cut down by Doku with the stolen blade, but he is brought back to life as a soldier of revenge by Falcon, the spiritual animal of the Hayabusa clan. Seeking vengeance for Kureha's death, Liu learns from Mirai that the raiders were from Vigor, so he stows away on an airship bound for the Empire. Fighting his way through the streets of his capital city, Tyran, Liu faces several rivals, including 3 greater fiends. He defeats Elma in a battle that wrecks the city, but leaves her to her twin sister Rachel's mercy. Conversely, Rachel cannot bring herself to kill her sister, and instead is taken by Doku, who prepares to sacrifice her in a ritual to enhance Elma's power. With Elma's help, Liu rescues Rachel and destroys Doku's spirit. But with his dying breath, Doku casts the blood curse on Liu. The only way for Liu to lift the curse is to kill the Emperor. So he stormed the palace, defeating mobbers who bars his way to the Emperor's personal realm. 2 successful tough fights ensues before destroying the Emperor and reclaiming the Dark Dragon Blade. Once this is accomplished, his realm starts to destruct. Liu must then maneuver up a series of alleged escape, but in the process, he loses his grip on the Dark Dragon Blade. The fallen blade lands on the feet of a figure, the Dark Disciple, who has been shadowing Liu all along. Taking the blade, the disciple reveals himself to be the clan leader Mirai. He admits that the raid on Hayabusa village was part of his plan to restore Blade's evil power, using souls harvested by Liu. Drawing on the power, Mirai transforms himself, setting the stage for the final combat. Liu defeats Mirai and shatters the blade with the true dragon sword. Victorious, Liu turns himself into a falcon and flies to the Hayabusa village. He places the dragon eye used to enhance his sword on Kureha's tombstone and disappears into the night. 1 year later, Master Blacksmith Muramasa is setting up shop in Tokyo. A CIA agent named Sonia enters the place and asks for Liu's whereabouts, and 2 members of the Black Spider Ninja clan attack the shop and kidnap her. Liu fails to stop the Sonia's kidnapping and makes haste around the Tokyo skyscrapers and rescue the agent, who informs him of an attack on the Hayabusa village by the Black Spider Ninjas, who wish to steal the demon statue they possess and protect. Liu returns to his home and finds his father, Joe Hayabusa, dueling with Genshin, leader of the Black Spider Ninja. Unfortunately, the demon statue is taken away by Queen of the Greater Fiends and ruler of blood, Elizabeth, and Joe urges his son to retrieve the statue at all cost. Liu travels around the world with Sonia in pursuit of Elizabeth and the demon statue, while encountering legions of Black Spider Ninjas and 3 other great fiends. Alexei, the graceful ruler of lightning, Wolf, the invincible ruler of storms, and the Sidonians, the malevolent ruler of flame. Liu tracks Elizabeth down to South America, where she offers the demon statue to Infernal High Priest Dagra Dai in order to resurrect the ancient Archfiend, Vasta. Elizabeth deals with Liu and he defeats her, but she proclaims her return. An overlooking Genshin explains that the Fiends are looking to resurrect the Archfiend, who is supposed to emerge from Mount Fuji back in Japan. The mountain is also the place which bound both the Black Spider Ninja and the Dragon lineage. Liu returns home, cautioning Sonia not to follow him. As Liu overlooks the fire-briming Mount Fuji, Ayane enters with the Eye of the Dragon, a gift from Joe Hayabusa, and Liu equips the relic onto his dragon sword, forming a true dragon sword again. Heading to the mountain summit, Liu finds Genshin waiting for him at the crater's entrance. As Mount Fuji erupts, Genshin reveals to Liu that he never cared for attention of the Archfiend, and that their moment has finally arrived. The 2 ninjas fight to the death before Genshin falls dead. Elizabeth appears over deceased Genshin, looking to revive him as a fiend, as Liu descends into the Mount Fuji. Liu fights past the hordes of Fiends and single-handedly defeats Zidonius, Wolf, and Alexei, and rescues the captured Sonya. He instructs her to stay and then heads into another room and finds a resurrected Genshin, transformed into a Fiend, back for a final battle. The two ninja battle in another arduous one, ending with Liu eventually cutting Genshin down. Genshin and Liu, though mortal adversaries, share a final mutual respect as ninja in Genshin's dying moment. Genshin shares with Liu that all of his actions were meant to strengthen the Black Spider Ninja as a whole, and has no regrets of pursuing that. He acknowledged Liu as a great warrior, and in support of Liu's cause, hands him the cursed blade of Archfiend for use before dying. A furious Elizabeth appears, and chastises the Black Spider Ninja for losing, even with his power. Liu attacks Elizabeth and angrily cuts her down to red dust with the combination of his own Dragon Sword and Genshin's blade of the Archfiend. Traveling deeper into the underworld, Liu confronts Dagura Dai, who is nearly finished with the Archfiend resurrection, and defeats him. As a last result, the Infernal High Priest offers his life to Vasta, and the Archfiend is reborn. Liu takes down the monstrosity and heads to the surface with Sonya, but a drop of his blood from an open wound accidentally spills onto the Fiend, and revitalizes Vasta, who ascends to the summit in his true form. Amidst an erupting Mount Fuji, Liu squares off with the Archfiend in a climactic duel to decide humanity's fate and wins. Sonya and Liu reunite and climb to the top of the mountain, sharing the sunrise together. Liu is called upon by the Japanese Self-Defense Force to deal with the terrorist group led by the mysterious Alchemist, the Regent of the Mask, who personally wanted the Dragon Ninja to come. Upon encountering the Alchemist at the Prime Minister's residence in London, he curses Liu's right arm with the grip of murder, which threatens on all the lives Liu has taken, causing the Dragon Sword to be absorbed into Liu's arm. Later, Liu and JSDF member Mitsuki MacLeod watch as the region demands the immediate surrender by the nations of the world in 7 days, or face annihilation. After the JSDF ship Unagi intercepts a signal coming from the Rub Kali Desert, Liu departs there with Mitsuki and meets Ayane, who gives him the Tension Clan's treasure sword at Hayate's request. Liu makes his way to the tower in the desert, where he again encounters the Regent of the Mask, who reveals that the affliction of the grip of murder used the Dragon Sword as a medium for the curse, then broke his structure down and transmutated it into Liu's arm, and revealed that without treatment, the curse will rot his arm from the inside out, and spread throughout his body, killing him. After defeating the attacking helicopter, Liu returns to the Unagi, where he meets Mitsuki's daughter, Kana, and Cliff Higgins, Mitsuki's brother-in-law. Cliff revealed that the group they were fighting are called the Lords of Alchemy. Liu departs for Abysmal Island. There, he faces the region once again, and defeats the clone of a Gigantosaurus created by him. However, Liu discovers that Mitsuki has been captured. He rescues Mitsuki, only for her to knock him unconscious with a tranquilizer gun. Liu awakens in a VR simulator, where he meets the alluring and sinister Lovelace. She demonstrates that in the simulator he can be hurt or killed, and Liu is forced to go through with the simulation, taking him to the places from his past. After escaping, Liu fights his way through the LOA guards. Eventually, he finds Connor and escapes with her to find her mother. They find Mitsuki, held captive by the region. After reunion, the region ruthlessly pushes Lovelace into a prototype God's Egg, and Liu is forced to fight a mutated version of Lovelace. After defeating her altered form, Liu escapes with Kana and Mitsuki, only to be arrested by the US military. The two are reprimanded by Captain Gaiden for their actions, and are ordered to cease the operation immediately. Liu travels via helicopter back to Hayabusa village to find out how to remove the curse. First, Liu revisits Gensu's grave, where he takes the Blade of Archfiend and travels back to the village, fighting hordes of vengeful Black Spider Ninja until the grip of murder begins to take its toll on him, causing him to lose consciousness. He awakens in the clan leader's residence, nursed to health by the dragon shrine maiden Momiji. Liu and Momiji travel to the hermitage where his father Joe Hayabusa lives. On the way, they are attacked by the Black Spider clan sorceress Obaba, who somehow come back to life. After the battle, they make their way to Joe's house. Joe tells Liu that the curse is karmic retribution for all the deeds committed by the Dragon Ninja clan over the generations. Back on the Unagi, Liu is sent on an operation to Antarctica with Cliff. After defeating numerous foes, the grip of murder begins to activate. Cliff reveals himself as a member of the LOA, along with his grandfather Ashtier Higgins, the chairman of LOA, who reveals that Cliff is the head of group's research and he has a plan for Canner. Soon after, Liu attempts to chase down Cliff and Ashtier, but is left behind when he is knocked off their jet. Cliff tells Liu that he would meet him on the Black Nawa, a mysterious fleet thought to have been dismantled. Liu is picked up by Ken Ishigami from the JSDF and transported to an UN vessel where he is told that Canner is missing. Liu and Mitsuki fly over the Black Nawa, and Liu jumps off and faces off with Ashtier and defeats him. Liu learns of his plan for Canner just before killing him, and proceeds to search for her inside the ship. Eventually, he comes face to face with the region of the mask, watching as Canner is fused with the egg of God. Liu defeats the region, and shocked to see that the man is actually Canner's father, Theodore Higgins, who were thought to be dead. Cliff appears and reveals that he killed his brother, Theodore, when he tried to stop his plan, but for the purpose of him dying at Liu's hand, he brought him back from the dead, and erases his memories while controlling him through an AI unit in the mask. Canner sees this and calls Liu a murderer, merging with the egg to become a goddess, wielding the dragon sword as the Black Nawa sinks into the ocean. Liu, Mitsuki, and Ishigami pursue the goddess to Tokyo, where she left a trail of destruction. Liu and Mitsuki are attacked by Cliff, who has transformed into a mutant creature. They are about to be killed when Theodore appears and kills Cliff, his memory fully restored. Liu and Theodore continue their pursuit of the goddess, but when they are about to reach her, Theodore suddenly betrays Liu, stating that the blade of Archfiend Liu uses will kill Canner indiscriminately as it is an evil blade. The two men battle for the final time. After Liu kills him, Theodore chants an incantation and the curse on Liu is removed. Liu confronts the goddess. As the battle reaches its climax, the blade of the Archfiend and the goddess' giant dragon swords are broken to their hilts. Liu's original dragon sword returns to him and he cuts the goddess in half, killing it. Canner falls into Liu's arm, safe and alive. Liu leaves her in a safe area for Mitsuki to find her. With his duty complete, he departs into the sunrise.